behalf of the ECR, I'll pass the floor to Mrs. Girling for a minute, please.
Thank you, Madam President. This proposal on biocides is not perfect, but it does present to us a perfect example of a European compromise. The draft regulation emphasises the introduction of EU-wide authorisation procedures which will operate alongside national approval structures for biocidal products with similar conditions of use, which I welcome. And I also welcome the introduction of the concept of low-risk products with a simplified procedure. This is all moving in the right direction, but there are still some areas of concern. I wonder particularly whether we have got the issue of confidentiality right. Transparency is of course essential for consumer safety, but innovation could be stifled by disproportionate disclosure demands. It is important to be consistent, and I wonder if the Commission are prepared to consider how this stacks up against the confidentiality and transparency issues within the REACH regulations. Of course, the composition of the product is only one issue. It is also important to think about how they are used. This proposal requires the Commission to come forward in 3 years' time with a report on how this regulation contributes to sustainable use, particularly for professional users, and I welcome this initiative from Parliament. Balancing environmental and consumer protection and promoting the single market are always a regulatory challenge, but I think this proposal has moved us some way forward.
Thank you very much. Και θα περάσουμε τώρα στους υπόλοιπους εγγεγραμμένους.
We can now go on to the other speakers, and I call on Mr. Schnellhardt for 1.5 minutes.
Madam President, ladies and gentlemen, the recommendation for how to handle biocidal products that we are to put to the vote